Scoreholio organizers. This is Ben with Scoreholio. I'm going to go over one of our most popular types of tournaments. It's called a blind draw tournament. A blind draw tournament would be players signing up for a tournament on their own, and then the organizer will randomly pair them with another partner that they will keep the entire tournament. So if you're doing a round robin or a bracket, two players will remain on the same team the entire tournament, but they get paired right at the beginning. So let's head into this. I'm going to go into the Scoreholio app here. And the first thing I'm going to do is go to this Run a Tournament tab. It's the blue one right there. And you'll see I already have a tournament set up. This is to save some time. I'm going to click on it. And if you ever need to edit your tournament, you can always click this Edit button here. Now I have all the information at the top that for my tournament. If you ever need to learn anything that is on this screen, you can click these info buttons right here. The main two things for this one is, your format. I'm just doing a round robin tournament here, but the team generation here is a blind draw, and you'll see that as the first option. That's what we're going to be doing today. There's pre-registration, there's wait lists, all sorts of stuff on this screen. Like I said, click that info button if you have more questions about it. But I'm going to go ahead and click update, and you'll see my tournament is right there. The first thing I'm going to do with my tournament is click on it, and I'm going to click this blue check-in button. And when I click the blue check-in button, you'll see that the camera comes on. First off, in the bottom right, you can always manually add a player. So if you click that and go ahead and put in Tom Jones, let's say, and you can put their email in so that way they get their stats tracked. But for this one, I'm just going to go ahead and put them in. And there were categories there. You could always, one thing you could always add yourself by clicking this player at the top left corner. And you'll see that these are the categories A, B, and C. I'll get more into those as we get into the tournament. I'm not going to put myself in yet. But on this bottom left side, you're going to see pre-reg here. That's that purple button. That is how you could check in players that have already pre-registered. So let's say Laura shows up. I can always click on Laura. I'm just going to put her in Group B. Like I said, we'll talk more about that soon. And then I'll show you how to check in from the admin in a second. But let's say a player shows up to your tournament and they want to check in, but they didn't pre-register. They can click the player profile button, that green one at the top. And then if they click this check-in button, you'll see that a QR code comes up, and you can scan the QR code and add a player that way. That was just scanning that QR code from their screen. I'm going to click the back button on the top, and that's going to bring us back to our list of tournaments. I'm going to click on that blind draw tutorial, and I'm going to click on this red admin button on the bottom right there. This is going to bring us into the admin where you run your tournament. Now, you can always run your tournament from scoreholio.com on a laptop and click on run a tournament. It'll look exactly like this, just in a bigger format. But I like to just run all my tournaments on my phone. So here you go. You can see all the tournament players I have checked in. I have 7 players checked in here. And then there's that pre-registered player there. So let's say Tim shows up. I can always click on Tim and then click on that check-in player blue button and check him in there. So now I have everybody in Group B. So what are the groups? Let's say that you have 2 players, or you want to separate your players so that they are more balanced, the 2 teams, right? That 2 players on the team. Let's say that, like, Tom Jones is really good. So we want to put Tom Jones in Group A. So we go ahead and move him into Group A. And let's say Wade Phillips isn't that good. So we go ahead and move Wade Phillips to Group C. Now we have groups A, B, and C. The system's going to pair an A with a C first, then A's with B's, and then all B's after that. So you want to make sure that you have your B's with more players in it. Now, the system, if you just put them all in B, it's going to be just random pairing between anybody in the B group. Let's say the 2 players come, like let's say a dad and a kid, or mom and a friend, and they just don't want to ruin anybody's day because maybe they're just not that good, or they just really want to play together. You can always click on somebody. Let's say Laura Kay here wants to play with her husband Tim. And so you can manually pair Laura with Tim and click that match player button. and you're going to see it's going to go ahead and make them a match. And you could do that before you randomize everybody else. And you'll see that they're in group M down here. That's for manually paired. The other thing that I want to show you is that you can always add a player in the admin. So let's say you wanted to do one more player. I don't know. I'm not really thinking of a fun player name, but we'll just do one player. You're going to see that they're going to go down here into this group B. So now, one last thing is that if you do have people that have played with you before, you could just type in their names in this manually existing players and their information will show up. I'm not going to do it because players' emails will show up. So I don't want to show you those. But now if I click on this more options button, let's say that you want the system to split people into groups. You can click on that more options, then this split blind draw groups here. And here you can actually have the system split based off of, different metrics that we track in the app. Now we have gender, t-shirt size, SPR is Scoreholio player rating. In Cornhole, horseshoes, and axe throwing, we have PPR and DPR. And in billiards, we would have Fargo rate. And in pickleball, we would have Duper. So you can always split based off of those metrics in those sports. But let's say I'm just going to do it off of Scoreholio player rating, and I click this split into groups. The system's going to actually split those players into A and C based off of their SPR. So you can see the higher SPR are going to be at the top and the lower SPR are in the bottom in group C. So now whenever I go up here and I go to click this randomize players button, you're going to notice that I have 7 players. So when I click randomize players, it's going to give me 2 options: add a ghost and randomize, or just randomize only. A ghost would be a, non-existent partner. So that person would be a single for the blind draw. You can also do groups of 2, 3, and 4 if you're doing something like a crew cup or teams of 4 in any sport. So I'm going to go ahead and click add a ghost and randomize, and you'll see that's going to go ahead and make my teams for this tournament. Once it's done randomizing, I can scroll down and you can see that I have all 5 of my teams: AC, AC, AB, all that good stuff. So now that we have all of our teams all set, I'm going to go ahead and, and just in case, let's say that 2 other people just randomly walk in, you could just put their names in and click that randomize players button again, and it'll make those 2 a team. Or you can click this unrandomize button, and if you unrandomize, you could add them and then re-randomize the entire group again. So you can do those, either one of those options there. And like I said, go to docs.scoreholio.com for any of these other buttons on the screen. But I'm going to go ahead and click this start tournament button. And then I'm going to go ahead and click populate courts. And that's going to put all those teams onto the courts, which I only have 5 teams. So you can't fill up 3 courts with 5 teams. But, you can either just score here, 21 to 5, and click submit, and the system's going to take them off the court and fill the court with the next teams up. If it was a bracket, obviously it would create a bracket, and you can learn how to do things like player scoring, or we have kiosk mode where you can score through that. But like I said, docs.scoreholio.com to find out more. That is how you run a blind draw tournament on the Scoreholio app. This is Ben with Scoreholio. It's easy peasy.